By the way, Georgi, back to what Mikhail Hidureli told us, reaching out to regions and setting up one-stop shops seems to be a very good idea and a very urgent need as well. Head of the European Business Association, EBA, John Braeckveldt, who will be watching in a second, highlighted bureaucracy as one of the main challenges in this country, and not only for foreign but also for local investors as well.
Absolutely, and not a new problem, definitely. But John has been living and working in Georgia for years, and he's quite good at comparing business climate in Georgia for over these years. EBA also has several position papers prepared on a number of issues, as I remember, for the website.
Yes, you remember it correctly. That's why he's in position to share not only theory but specific examples well placed in the context. So, floor is his. John Braeckveldt, head of the EBA, European Business Association, is here today with us, and he will be answering our questions. What is your take? How can we open the economy, including tourism sector, since this is one of the largest sectors for Georgia's economy?
This is the biggest question everybody has. Specifically to not the business association, but my company. I work for the company Gosselin. We're a transportation, moving company. If I can note on that part, yes, my business is hurt. I want to open my business also internationally. But I notice now, because I'm working a lot with trucks, drivers. I see a lot on the news every day, truck drivers who have the virus, who are stopped at the border. I'm at a risk business now. I need to make sure to be safe. I have to make sure, I have to have the responsibility as a business also to make sure that I don't bring the virus here in Georgia. It would be horrible if it would be my fault.
Yes, but on the other hand, for example, the issue with Wizz Air now, right? What kind of message it is for the business environment in Georgia?
I think the best thing is not now to communicate about these kind of specifics and say just as a business environment itself, yes, it is difficult. Sectors, yes, there is sectors, again, tourism, airline sector, who are very hard hit, but every business is affected now.
With these new plans that we are hearing all the time, anti-crisis plan, post-crisis plan, do you see the risk of fighting these specific problems with specific sectors, leaving behind the, so to say, the reformatory process?
We are strongly, as a European Business Association, tell yes, we need to follow the rules because we want to export our goods, our products from Georgia to Europe. Of course, we need to make sure, we need to find good balance between the local economy needs and the association's articles. We had, I cannot name the company names now, but we had a company who had a problem for exporting food. We went to the European Union and asked them for guidance. They gave guidance, and there was perfectly guidance here in Georgia. At the Ministry of Agriculture was somebody sitting who was funded by European Union, especially to help. So it's sometimes not that difficult. It's just putting.
But it was you who found that person, and
yes,
not the company itself.
Yes, because it's a bit a maze on that part.
So are you successfully fighting bureaucracy?
That is a big problem. Unnecessary extra steps. And unfortunately, the last years, the bureaucracy got worse and worse in Georgia. And we need to address that. If we want to have the SMEs development here, that is the basic thing what they need. Less bureaucracy.
Why do you make that focus on SMEs?
Very simple. And unfortunately, let's admit it a bit, a lot of these big investments, they come to Georgia, but as soon as their investment is done, they're not going on. They're going away again from the country. So I would not consider them really as a primary goal to have in Georgia. SME sector, this is a sector that does not require so much incentives. They just want to do their business. Their employment, maybe it's not that much from the start, but it's in the long run. It is for a long-term employment you have. And you have a more return on taxes. If they have a tax issue, they need to have a quick answer. They don't want to be in a court busy with the tax or with the Ministry of Finance.
EBA has set up the mediation service, right? Yes.
Correct.
Do you see the demand for that?
What we try to do is to solve business disputes. The first thing what we have as a positive one, it doesn't take a long time. You contact the mediation center, I think within 1 month we can set it up. I never saw a court be able to do that. Another big advantage, there is now today, still, all these years, so many court cases backed up at the court here. There is the law that says if you're busy in a court now, that you can take away the case from the court and you can bring it in the mediation. So we can accelerate this also to solve this. And this is our goal. We are not going to judge the court's decision or something. How can we? We're just a business. We're just a business association. But what we can do is to find for our business solutions to make them focus on the business and not focusing on court. Really suggest for all the people to check our website. We have all our position papers published there. With the tax, we had actually a very positive news with the tax legislation. This is also a problem. If for taxation, if there is coming, if you get fines, the procedure is very difficult. You have to go to the revenue services, then you have to go to the ministry. It takes years. We submitted our position paper to the government, to the Ministry of Finance also, and the Ministry of Finance started a discussion on it also to approve it. So, which is a very positive thing for us. We don't do it for government. We do it for ourselves, for our business. That's what our motto is: by the business, for the business.
On part of the reforms. So what you just mentioned, it's tax reform, it's court reform. What are some of the other reforms?
Well, actually, the most important one I didn't mention here for SMEs and for the businesses: access to finance. And especially now in this situation, access to finance is a very big problem. A very big problem that needs to be addressed. When you go to a bank, you want to get a loan to start up your business, the interest rates are incredibly high compared to European countries. Incredibly high. You cannot make a business plan based on that. And you are a little bit stuck here. The business should be able to have a stock exchange in Georgia developed well enough that they can say we don't need to have go to the banks. We can go directly to invest capital in a business. Now everything is a little bit all closed down into the two commercial banks who are not providing enough funds for the SMEs.
Why do you say two commercial banks when we have more
the
than
two main
10?
commercial banks, the two main, excuse me for that. On the other hand, okay, they're also a business. Of course, I understand this is their business, but that gives a burden for the other SMEs. And we need to find a solution, including with the two main banks also in Georgia here, to find a solution to have more access to finance.
Big IFIs, for example, BRD and all of them, like EIB also, they also have some funds. Does it come to you? Does it come to businesses? Is that where you are going
yes and no.
Yeah.
That's a very good question. We had last week the EBA, we had a Zoom meeting with the head of EBRD, Katarina Bjornlin Hansen. Yeah. And the banks, IFI, the financial institutions also, they were also invited, and we had a very clear discussion. And this question we asked, because EBRD is giving the funds, but EBRD giving also the funds to the banks, and the banks are distributing the funds. And the simple question for a non-banker, and I am a non-banker, was from, yes, if we now, as a business, I want to have a loan, should I go to EBRD or should I go to the bank? And the answer was quite interesting that Katarina gave, and it's actually quite simple. If you have a big investment, over 1 million euros, yes, then it is good to go directly to EBRD. Why? Because you need already to have knowledge how to organize your business plan, all these kind of things, and EBRD,
which makes sense,
is telling, yes, you have this, you need all the paperwork to do. If you are a smaller business, if you don't know how to do your startup, your business plan, if you don't know your paperwork, it is better to go to a commercial bank, because a commercial bank will also give you the assistance.
But all the things you mentioned, what SMEs need, is a risk for a commercial bank as well.
How do you mean?
Like if you don't know how to organize things, or if you don't know how to write a plan or whatever.
I'm not telling we need to avoid the commercial banks. This is maybe mispronounced from me. I don't tell we need to avoid.
No, I understand. That's why you mentioned capital markets and access.
We need to have
to
lower
finances.
interest rate.
What we see from these contours of this new renewed investment plans or investment strategy that the Prime Minister and Ministry of Economy is also communicating. They are saying that they are looking for large companies to come to Georgia and due to this process of diversification of supply chains from China. What is your take on that?
What I see as a problem for a large investor is, first of all, they need a one-stop shop. We mentioned it many times. Before we had the organization Invest in Georgia, made a good advertising outside of the country. Now I'm a bit lost. So we have
Investors Council.
We have an Investors Council. Where are the investors there? I didn't see. We have Produce in Georgia. We have Enterprise Georgia. We have the Tourism Administration, also investment. For me, it looks not coordinated. Not coordinated enough. I'm not telling that now the approach of the big investments, like having the meeting with the 400 companies, is wrong. Yes, if we don't try anything, that is wrong. But I see more chances to listen to the people, to see what exactly that they want. Because maybe what we are offering is maybe different from what these companies want.
Thank you so much, and thank you for taking our questions once again.
You're welcome, Len. Thank you very much.
Thank you.